Today, we're going to address two questions that I get more than just about anything. The first one being, Cody, what are the best cryptos to make me rich? Well, I'm going to talk about 5 of them today. Now, let's hold the rich because it comes down to investing money. But what I will tell you is you're going to need ways to make money, alternate ways to make money with the way that the world government, the world economy is going. Namely, here in the United States, we're looking at defaulting on our debt. We're looking at a whole host of problems. We don't want to bring you down. We want to talk about 5 cryptos that I'm invested in that I think are going to blow up. This is not financial advice. This is just one guy telling you what he's doing. Operation Crypto Savior. So let's get into the 5. But before we do, I'm going to address the second question I get constantly, and that is, Cody, how do I start a business? A lot of people are scared of losing their job, and sadly, most people are going to lose their job over the next 10 years. Jobs are going to get gigged out. Small businesses, and more than small businesses, one man or one woman shops is going to be the new thing because these companies have gone, they've gone off their rocker, and a lot of them are financially strapped. A lot of them are getting pushed politically in one direction or the other. So instead of getting into all that, a lot of people are saying, what do? I need to make money, and I need to make it quick. Well, the cool thing is we just created an incredible option for you to be able to do that. We're actually going to break this down step by step. First link down below, a video I just made for you. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm actually going to be taking it down soon. It's a really cool beta program where you can actually have a business built for you. Most incredible thing, and I highly recommend you check it out right now while it's still open. If the link still works, it's still open. Check it out. No email required, and you can watch this video I made for you. That covers that. Let's get into the 5 crypto. Number 1 is DOT. Now, I got into DOT early, not early enough. I wish I would have got in earlier, but DOT is big in connecting blockchains, and if you look at decentralization and the future of decentralization, I think DOT is important. Now, there's a lot of crypto-based tools in the privacy world that I'm going to be breaking down. Crypto VPNs, because you all know that Proton Mail let the privacy community down and is basically a disgrace in the privacy community at this point. Well, there's a lot of options in the crypto space that are going to kind of pick up the slack, and DOT is a great option for connection, and there's a bunch of VPNs that I'm going to be doing reviews on very soon, but we'll talk about them later. DOT is number 1. Number 2 is ADA. I got into ADA early, but I wasn't bullish enough, so I don't own nearly enough. But ADA has blown up in the last couple of months, and it is poised to become a rival to Ethereum eventually. Now, the difference, and keep in mind, it's not dollars and dollars. So when I say rival, I don't mean money-wise. You know, if Ethereum's $3,000 and ADA's a couple of bucks, you might be thinking, there's a lot more ADA in circulation. So keep that in mind. Cardano has a lot more in circulation than Ethereum. So it's you're not comparing apples to apples on volume, but that really doesn't matter when it comes down to actually use case. Going to be very interesting to see what it does and how Cardano carves out its piece of the pie in the crypto space. But it has been blowing up, and it has been on pretty much everyone's top 10, most people's top 5 lists, including mine, because the future looks bright. Now, people are talking $1,000 Cardano. You know how big the market cap would have to be? I don't think it's going to ever get anywhere near that. Even 100, the market cap would have to be massive. But could it get to 10, 20, 25 in the next handful of years? 50 even? Possible. Depends on the adoption. But if you're in early enough, there's some money to be made with Cardano for sure. Lots. Next one I'm very bullish on is VChain. VChain is very good. I was in early. I've got a lot of VChain, and I think the future is bright with VChain. If you look at authentication of knockoff goods, of fakes, if you look at tracking merchandise, if you look at the way e-commerce is going, VChain is going to play a big role in the international commerce market. And I recommend you look it up. I recommend you check out VChain. It is going to be a very important one. The next one is Algo. Now, Algo is one of those interesting ones. I got in reasonably early. Again, like Cardano, I have a lot. I don't have as much as I should have had. I should have put mountains of money into Cardano and Algo when I didn't. But luckily, I own a chunk of both of them, which is nice. And they've gone up a lot. Algo actually has a monthly percentage paid, which is interesting. But they were up in the mid 2s recently. They've come down a little, but the future of that looks really bright. I would recommend researching it, studying it. It's a very interesting project that has some long-term potential for sustainability and actual implementation in the crypto market that adds substantial value, stuff that people can actually use. Now, I've talked about before that I'm a big proponent of value. I'm a big proponent of these projects providing value so they could be around long term. I'm not a big proponent of companies like SafeMoon that are like basically, I get what they are. They're basically an FU to the man. If everyone gets on, it's kind of a pyramid scheme, to be honest, but the people who get in early can make a bunch of money. And then they got a little popular and they're like, we're going to make this and we're going to make a wallet. SafeMoon's kind of a joke. Shibu, you know, Shibu Inu. Ooh, Shibu Inu, right? You got these little collector coins. Shibu is an interesting one because they made it kind of as a joke and then they saw some popularity and then they pivoted into, Shiba Swap and trying to add some actual services. Whether or not that's going to amount to anything, I personally own 100 million Shiba Inu. Don't get too excited. That equated, when I bought it, that was maybe $1,000. I think I have $1,000. I figured worst case I lose $1,000. Best case, if it goes somewhere, even if it goes to like 1/10 of 1 cent, I'll make a crap load of money on it. But people say, oh, what if it goes to a penny? It's almost impossible for Shibu to go to a penny unless it had massive like Elon Musk level adoption. You know, anything's possible, but it would take a lot. But I threw $1,000 at it because you never know. But that's not what I recommend. That's just a little side thing. You know, it's kind of an interesting one, kind of betting on it. See, I live in Vegas, right? You gotta take risks. But Shibu's not the one. I'm not telling you the ones I would take the big risks on. I'm telling you the ones that have the most potential. I don't think Shibu has the most potential. I think there's a good chance it dies out, just like SafeMoon, or there's a good chance they do something, and that's awesome if they do. But the one I would recommend would be AMP. Now, I think it's very early for AMP, and AMP is very inexpensive, and I recommend you check it out. Look at what AMP does. AMP's a weird one because some people like love it and think it's going to go to the moon. Of course, that's the standard crypto. Everything's to the moon. Yeah. And some people think it's a joke and it's going to die out. I don't think it's a joke and it's going to die out. It's not got as much traction as I would like to see it have, but I like to get into these things kind of early because that's how you make money. You don't get it like you get into Bitcoin now, you're more likely to lose than make money. Like Bitcoin and a lot of these big ones, they've kind of topped off. Like for Bitcoin to go to 50, 60 grand again, it would need a massive rally, right? I know there's a lot of people like Bitcoin's going to go to 200 grand. It would need institutionalized money. It would need to be adopted worldwide. And the market and the industry is just starting to pass Bitcoin by now that crypto is so popular. Bitcoin served one purpose, and that's to make crypto popular. It is fulfilled its destiny, you know, and that's kind of it, right? It's like that staple marquee brand, but then, you know, it doesn't really do anything of value. Whereas if you look at what AMP does, and, you know, solidifying payments, especially when like Bitcoin, Ethereum are too slow, it gives assurance to the merchants and the, you know, actually transfer of fiat currency. So there's a lot of things in there that add value that I think could be very valuable to the market. And again, I'm always talking about valuable to the market if it's a money thing. Now, we already know my picks for privacy obviously are Monero and obviously are VChain. The unfortunate thing about VChain and Monero, and the reason I've done at length, in-depth, detailed videos on both those, how to use them. I've done tutorials. I've done how to buy them. I've done where to get them, etc., etc., etc. But the thing with VChain and Monero is those aren't necessarily investments in the same way as they are usable as far as privacy. The thing is, they're going to always be capped because they always have so much bad publicity. As great of a project as Monero is, it's always under FBI investigation. There's a lot of people who are scared of it. Same thing with the VChain. So that's something to keep in mind when it comes to that. The other thing I would keep in mind is, you know, figure out what's best for you. I'm just telling you what I do and some of the stuff that I'm invested in. You get your own financial and legal advice and check it out for yourself because you don't want to just be throwing money out there willy-nilly. The crypto market is very, very, very risky. It's the most risky market you can get into, and don't ever bet money that you can't afford to lose. It's kind of like here in Vegas. don't play with money you can't afford to lose, right? And same thing in crypto. A lot of people will tell you crypto is a surefire win. It's not. In fact, there's a lot of people upside down right now because the market's massively down. Then in a couple of days, it could shoot up. Then it'll go down again. It is a very volatile, very risky thing. Don't play with money you cannot afford to lose, because there's a lot of cryptos that are going to crash. There's a lot of cryptos that die out and you lose everything. Okay, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees in life, but the crypto market has massive wins. It makes millionaires many times over, and it has people who lose everything they invest. So keep that in mind. That's what I want to talk about. Check out the first link down below because, yeah, investing in crypto is the number one market with the exception of gold and silver. Sadly, the gold and silver market is massively stale right now, and I'm not really seeing much movement or much hype or much life in the gold and silver market. Ironically, it's like the last saving grace besides crypto. It's crypto and gold and silver. Those are the saving graces. Everything else is screwed. I mean, the housing market's going to implode. Real estate, commercial, I know so many commercial real estate millionaires that are basically begging they don't end up in bankruptcy in the next year because commercial real estate is dead and it's dying quickly with everything that's going on. And even real estate investors are in a lot of trouble. You look at stock investors, they're looking for anything to do other than trade stocks because it's going to be a nightmare with the way things are going. The market's getting ready to jump off a cliff. The bond market, I mean, the government's looking at defaulting on their debt. You think of it, no, disaster. So crypto, gold, and silver. So those are the cryptos I recommend. Check out the first link down below. Make sure you're self-employed. Do not rely on a job because you're going to lose it. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Wait till you see what happens next. It's going to be a heck of a show, and we are going to be breaking all of it down here on Privacy X. Make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, putting out new videos every single day to help you become a ghost. Privacy is a right, and it's a right that needs to be protected. And if you don't protect it and I don't protect it, you can bet that the corporations and certainly the government won't protect it, and you do not want them to take your privacy because once it's gone forever. It does not come back. Have a great day, guys. Go all in, and I'll see you tomorrow.